Hey, welcome to Weld.com, home of TIG time. Hi, I'm Mr. TIG, and I'm on set here in Pittsburgh. Had a local viewer came through and brought this project and asked me if I would do it for him. And I thought, well, this looks pretty common, pretty normal. This looks like a fitness, maybe a weightlifting bench stanchions, and they are. And I looked at them; they're constructed of steel, they're welded. Everything looks great on them. The thing is, this person is doing bench lifting, and the way this is set up is he can be on a flat bench lifting here, and you can see the little short catch right here, so you can lift up and over and down, and you can do your weightlifting. And if you accidentally burn out, there's always a safety catch right here. So that's fine if that's all you're going to do is bench, but this person wants to do squats as well, and he wants his bench to stay in place. So there's really there's not a lot of methods he can do other than modify this to make this a multi-purpose. So, and some of the newer benches have this multi-purpose, but what he wants to do is he wants to reverse this. He wants to be able to walk through and start on the other side and do squats. Okay, well, if he does squats, he can't lift up and over. So these things need to be turned 180. Now, in order to do that, and you can see that they're welded here, they're welded all the way around, pretty substantial, but they're also chrome plated. So welding over chrome, it has a couple little tricks to it. So what we've agreed to do for this gentleman is we're going to go ahead and cut the tubing, turn these things around 180, tack them and weld them. And I'll show you some of the grounding issues. It is mild steel, so that's not terribly significant. We'll use a mild steel filler material, probably ER70S2, and weld them in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a cut about an inch below here, turn these things 180, put them in place, tack them and weld them. So I'll join you in a few minutes. Okay, now fortunately I've got a pretty good bandsaw here, but I tell you what's critical is that when I put this in the bandsaw and clamp it down, it's not perfectly flat. So I had to shim the back side. You want this thing to go in there as level as possible. Now the reason for that is that as soon as I make this cut, if it's not square, because I'm turning it 180 degrees, it's amplified. So, you know, if I have 1/8 of an inch out of flat, it's going to be 1/4 of an inch. By the time I put it together and try to fill that gap, not a pretty thing. So I just want this as straight as possible. I'm going to make the square cut as square as possible, and then I'll go ahead and I'll do some final trimming and deburring and things like that. So everything's in place. I've got it pretty level. I'm going to go ahead and run the bandsaw, and we'll see what we get here. Okay, before I tack weld and weld this thing, let's kind of recap, what went on. Well, first of all, I had to bandsaw cut in this general area. Now, the reason that I cut so close to this little clevis area is because once you make a cut, if your bandsaw is off just a little bit, it's amplified. I'm turning this over 180, so if I have a slight angle in my cut, let's say it's 1/8 of an inch, when I turn this over, it's compounded. It's now 1/4 of an inch gap, and that's not something you want to do. So it turns out that the closer you get, the less amplified it is. So that's why I got it real close to the area that I needed to turn. So I did make the cut. It cut pretty darn square. I mean, it was probably within a 1/16, if not less. So I'm pretty pleased with that. Then I put it on the work table, and I ground off all the burrs, so I had a good fit. The burr wasn't hanging up, and burrs usually you get some oil residue and it doesn't weld very good. So that's what I did. I deburred it. I put a little bit of a grind, a little bit of a chamfer, not intended. What I wanted to do is I wanted to get the chrome off, because the chrome is going to be a hazard when you try to weld. It's an insulator. And as such, you got to find a place where you can ground. Now all of this is chrome plated, so I ground off a little spot just to get rid of the chrome so I could put my ground clamp on. Otherwise, you're going to try to light an arc and nothing's going to happen. It's just little tricks that happen when you're dealing with chrome. So all I'm going to do here now is I'm going to tack it in 4 or 5 places, and then I'm going to weld it. And I'm just going to use mild steel. Will this rust? Sure, it'll rust, but it's inside of a house or a shop or a building. It's not going to be major rust. So the fact is, it'll still look good. It's not going to change a heck of a lot. I'm just going to use ER70S2 filler. Probably it's 045 diameter. I'm using DC, not more than 80 amps. Probably around 60 or 65 amps. Pointed tungsten, 332 diameter. It's not real pointed right now. I've been using it for a while, so I may have to grind it a couple of times. But I like to use a gas lens, so I'm going to go ahead and use a gas lens. CFH is going to be argon 15 to 20 CFH. So let me tack this and weld, and I'll show you the end results. Okay, I've checked out the straightness, the squareness. I've put on about 8 tacks total. I'm going to get a little bit of shrinkage, a little bit of pull, but it's going to be pretty insignificant. The fit up is pretty darn good. I don't see any huge gaps. I'm just going to go ahead and weld it and show you how I do it. And now I'm probably going to shrink maybe 20 thousandths, but that's not really enough to worry about. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, now that we've finished the project, we've got it in place, and you got to remember this. This gentleman came through. His name is Colin, and he wanted to be able to use this as a weight bench on one side and walk through and be able to do squats. And so, in order to do squats, he's got to have this extended length here. So when he backs up, the bar hits here, and then he knows exactly where he's at. So we went ahead and cut this thing. We rotated it 180. Added filler. If you'll notice the welds on it, very, very flat, didn't require a lot of fill. Now also there's always a question on strength. And when you get into welding and things like that, you got to be concerned with strength. Now this particular design of weld, it's in a compressive load. So you can put a house on top of this and it's not going to be a problem. So just know that it's a butt weld. The weight here obviously isn't challenging it, but we just wanted to check it out. So, Colin, we're going to give you a call, and you can come and get these, and kind of a neat, fun project to do. So, thank you for watching TIG Time. I'm Mr. TIG. To stay up with the latest TIG welding technology and education, subscribe by clicking the button below.